Good day, people of YouTube, and welcome to day 13 of our Commander deck build draft thing. Also, we have a new playmat. Unfortunately, this playmat, as much as I love it, really does not like spell table, or rather does not like my white focusing camera. I love this thing in real life, but there's definitely a reason I've never really played this on spell table. So yeah, thankfully at least spell table seems to be able to identify the card, or at least it's able to identify anima. Let's see whether it can identify what's in the Ixalan booster that we are going to play with today. So, Ixalan. We've already seen the sort of rivals of Ixalan. So again, this is sort of giant dinosaurs. So we should hopefully get some big creatures for anima. In blue-green, we also have Merfolk. Not many of them are huge, but that might sort us out some card draw. Also, red-blue Pirates is a thing that could potentially come good for us. And also, the token is in the wrong side of it. But hey, let's begin with a itty-bitty dinosaur nest robber, which you can't see on the screen, but thankfully spell table at least can. So it is a 2/1 haste for 2. Yeah, okay. Just not exciting. Next up, we have a Sunrise Seeker. When it enters the battlefield, it explores. It is a 5-mana 4/3/3 with Vigilance. Explore basically means when it enters the battlefield, we look at the top card of the library. If it's a land, it goes into our hand. Otherwise, we can either put the card into our graveyard or keep it on top and put a bottom swing counter on the creature. So it's got a reasonable chance of coming in as a 4/4 for 5, which is a bit of a better rate. Next up, we have the Desperate Castaways. So can't block and can't attack unless you control an artifact, but it's a 2/3 for 2, so slightly above the curve. The curve being, of course, having 1/1 for 1, 2/2 for 2, 3/3 for 3, etc. So it's slightly above the curve, but we need additional conditions to be met. Next, we have the Sun-Crowned Hunters, which are 6-mana 5/4s with Enrage. Whenever it is dealt damage, it does 3 damage to an opponent. So that is a good card. It helps with anima. It is 6 mana, so it will trigger Cascade shenanigans from our other cards we're likely to play. Also, more fluff from the dance stocking. I'm not going to have a stocking left by the end of this. Just an FYI. But yeah, there were some good dinosaurs in this set, which do what we want. Next, we get the Shipwreck Looter, which is a 2/1 for 2, and with Raid. So Raid, as long as we've attacked, Raid triggers. And in this case, if we attack with a creature this turn, you may draw a card, and if we do, discard a card. So that makes it slightly better than a Nest Robber, I think. Drawing and filtering our draws is always going to be better than just a random 2/1. Next, we have Ixalan's Keeper, which is a 2-mana 2/2 with an ability that costs 8. Target creature gains +5/+5 and trample on the end of turn. I like these sorts of cards in draft environments, as I think I mentioned with other things. A creature that can do something initially when you play it on turn 2, but late game could actually punch through or allow something else to punch through. It's a useful card. I'm not sure I'm necessarily going to run it, but it's a consideration at this stage. Next, we have Dive Down, which is a instant for 1 blue. Makes the creature have +3 additional toughness and hexproof, so that can save it from combat, can save it from a removal spell. It's pretty good. We then have the Grazing Whiptail, which is another dinosaur. It is a 3/4 with reach only, though, so not as exciting as the Sun-Crowned Hunters, but a bit more reasonable in terms of where it sits in terms of our mana curve. And we're almost at the point where we want to be considering the mana curve here. I've kind of not been doing that as we've gone through, but that's what I should have reviewed yesterday. I should have gone through and actually thought about my mana curve wasn't each colour. Okay, well, it's fine. We'll worry about that later, I suppose, when we do our next review. Or I might worry about it between videos. I might look at the cards between videos. Who knows? I'm going to play Demystify next, which I don't think we're going to take. Just 1 mana white destroy an enchantment. It is very situational. If I was going to run this sort of effect, I'd run something like Disenchant, which can target 2 things. 2 potential things, or, you know, the more options you have in Commander, the better, generally speaking. A card that only does 1 thing is usually not as good as a card that can do 2, even if not as well, or for slightly more mana. Skymarch Bloodletter. So when it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life, we gain 1 life. It is a 2/2 flyer for 3, so about on the curve. It's got evasion, which makes up for the 1 power and toughness lost for it, and an ability that also not amazing, 1 extra life, 1 extra damage. Yeah, means your opponent only has 19. Next up, to the uncommons, we have Grim Captain's Call, which returns the pirates from our graveyard to our hand. But We then do the same for Vampire, Dinosaur, and Merfolk. That actually isn't a bad card if we have a multitude. Actually, this would be really. If we were in black, we could probably take that on the basis that I think we probably got all those creature types somewhere. Oh boy, Underwood Elemental Commander, of course. It's it's potential. We then have Bright Reprisal, which is destroy target attacking creature, draw a card. That's an expensive rate though, even though we're getting a card out of it to replace itself. That's very expensive removal. Next up, we have the Deadeye Quartermaster. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment or vehicle. Put it into your hand. Ooh, okay. We do have the Hero's Blade, which would be not a bad thing to be able to grab. Gotta be honest. Also is in the middle of the mana curve at the moment, so okay. That's got potential to be played. We do have a couple of equipment. Nothing amazing, but the Hero's Blade certainly would be fine. We've also got that 1/1. We could potentially pick up additional equipment as we went down the list. We'll see how it goes. River's Rebuke. So, River's Rebuke returns all non-land permanents target player controls to their hand. So, that big board that my opponent might have built up, gone. And of course, if people are aware I've got it, they might say, there might be some politics involved for that card. I think we're taking River's Rebuke because it's a Master Evil, and then we got the Island Plant token for our thing. These aren't double-sided. Okay. So, I think in terms of things, River's Rebuke also cascades just for additional lulls. If we have Emoti out, it will cascade. So I think we're taking River's Rebuke. I'm also going to take my Sun Crown Hunters. So we have a couple of 6-drops. I'm now slightly worried whether we're going to have too many here, because you need to cast creatures to put the counters on in the first place. And I think just because of the potential upside of being able to find an equipment, there's a chance we get vehicles. Maybe. Actually, we do have some Kaladesh stuff that we could possibly get vehicles. And a couple of equipment isn't a bad thing. So I think we're going to take 3 creatures here. River's Rebuke, Sunade, Hunters, and Deadeye Quartermaster. And it's the first pack in a while. I've looked at the white and gone, no thanks. There is an argument of taking either of these two to fill out the curve as well. We know we're better off taking some green stuff. Probably, I think 2 green at 4 mana, especially when green is currently our lower color, is probably a bit expensive. With things that cost 6, it's usually more viable to have additional mountains by that stage. But we're majority in blue, so I think that is the pick here. We're going to take River's Rebuke, we're going to take the Sun Crown Hunters, and we're going to see how that goes. And thus the white balance appears. Okay, so those are our picks. Tomorrow, I may change this playmat, because as much as I love it, it is really not working for the camera at the moment. Well, we'll see. Until next time.